Epic is the best musical of all time. I don't care what anybody says. And it's not even a stage play yet. Because the show is so incredible, fans obviously had high expectations for the ending and how it would turn out. Jorgen Borgen somehow outdid himself because the Ithaca Saga is the perfect ending to Epic. Let's get into why. We've been waiting to meet Penelope forever, so opening the saga up with her explaining the whole shroud thing and some of her emotions was really great. We can feel a bit of her pain in this song as well as the growing urgency for Odysseus to return home. You have to remember, she's been doing this for 2 decades. Homegirl is exhausted. The buying you time part is also so good as you hear the suitors in the background and you really start to feel a sense of urgency and that the pressure is really building up for the situation. The last third of the song is so catchy and lays out the challenge of shooting an arrow through 12 axes. One aspect of the scene that I'm curious to see, either on stage or animated, is old Odysseus kind of lurking around in the background. I feel like that would be very interesting to see. The song obviously bangs though, and we finally get to meet Wifey. Alright, so one of my criticisms of the Wisdom Saga was that I didn't really feel the evilness and kind of despicableness of the suitors. They didn't quite have the disgustingness that I wanted them to have. Well, I certainly got my wish because Antinous delivers the most despicable song I have ever heard. He is so incredibly charming in the worst way possible, and it really shows how this man has the potential and actually is a leader, but in all the wrong ways. This song is Antinous at his absolute worst, and it really shows just how disgusting the suitors are. He outlines to the suitors a plan to kill Telemachus once he returns from his trip, and then they can finally take the throne and do whatever they want to Penelope. This is obviously incredibly disturbing to listen to, but frankly I think it's what the musical needed. We see so many monsters in the show, but seeing humanity be so vile really sets the show up for such a satisfying murder spree in the next song. We can really feel the magnitude of the horrors that they're talking about, and goddamn can this man sing. Also, one of the coldest lines in the entire show is in this song when Antinous goes, "When the crown wonders where the prince is, only the ocean and I will know." That shit goes hard. If you thought Odysseus was gonna take it easy on these after 20 years of bottled up rage, boy were you wrong. Odysseus has so much built up, and he lets these have it. In the animation, when it says, "Final boss, Odysseus," I damn near fainted because that was cool as hell. The true strength and ruthlessness of Odysseus is revealed in a way we've never seen, as he is so raw, honest, and brutal as he slaughters each and every single one of them. The explicit wording of "you plan to my wife" gagged me. And once again, I'm glad Jorge didn't sugarcoat how disgusting these men are. Also the line where he goes, "You have filled my heart with hate. This will be your fate." And he lifts the dude's head up and then slices it off is absolutely vile. And he just holds it and he's like, "This is gonna be you. This is gonna be you." Oh, the screams of horror at the end are so satisfying. So good. Such a good song. So after Telemachus watches his dad that he hasn't seen in 20 years brutally murder everybody in the palace, it's time for family bonding. They both describe their experiences and how much they've missed each other. And after a mini therapy session, Telemachus jumps to hug his father, a moment he's waited for his entire life.
"My son, I'm finally home!"
Oh, it really gets me. It really gets me. He like cuts him off and he just goes, so cute. The man he idolized and dreamt about was finally right in front of him, and it's glorious. It's then revealed that Odysseus knows Athena is watching them, and he greets her. She apologizes for her mistakes and says she wishes they could live in a more empathetic world. I really love the spacing in between their responses too, as Odysseus takes a second, and then he takes the time to acknowledge how he might want that as well, but it's far beyond his years. AKA, he is too old for that. Creating this world is going to have to be Athena's job, and although somber, this ending really gives us hope for the future. Also, it's revealed that she got a scar from when Zeus blasted the hell out of her with a lightning bolt, and that kinda gagged me too. Overall, just so good. This saga has really grown on me, it really has. I was like, at first, but the more I've listened to it, it might be my favorite, low-key. This is it, mother. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Honestly, so when I first heard this saga and song, I wasn't in love with it, largely because it felt a little choppy. But the more I've listened to it, the better I'm able to appreciate the core plot points and acting, as well as the emotional moments. I love how, opposed to him and Telemachus, Odysseus and Penelope are much more standoffish at first. They literally can't believe that the other is in front of their eyes. Odysseus feels immense guilt for his actions, and immediately reveals that he isn't the same man that he used to be. All the pain, trauma, and heartbreak of the journey weighs so heavily on him, and he's unsure if Penelope will ever love him the way that she once did. From Penelope's point of view, she has to actually make sure that this dude in front of her is her husband. It could be an imitator, you don't know. She tests him by bringing up a niche fact that only he would know: the bed carved into the olive tree. He is astounded that she would ask such a thing, and it shows in how hurt he feels that after all these years she doubts who he really is. Penelope eventually says that he passed the test, and all her emotions pour out. She's been without her husband for 20 years, had to raise her son all alone and hold off suitors who want to take advantage of her. She has so much pent-up frustration and sadness, so when her husband finally returns home, she's like, "How dare you think I wouldn't love you?"
I don't care where or when, no matter how long it's been, you're mine. Don't tell me you're not the same person.
Also, the flashes of her alone in this animation during the are despicable. Are you trying to make me sob? The answer is yes. Thank you, Jorgen Borgen. When it's finally time to embrace, you can feel the satisfaction of the hug. And with the most beautiful intertwining of the song that really started it all, Just a Man's instrumental hits. This really ties everything together because at the end of the day, Odysseus is just a man who's been trying to get home to his son and wife. All of his sacrifice, pain, mistakes, anguish, betrayal, depression, and more have all been for this reuniting moment. The song then ends with an "I love you," and I'm officially crying. That's it. That's the Ithaca Saga and also Epic the Musical. Honestly, the ending was better than I could have hoped for, and I think it's one that really has to settle with you. Also, really focusing on the emotions of each song really helps me appreciate everything because it goes into Antinous and his lust, and Penelope and her built-up frustration, Odysseus and his guilt, Telemachus and craving to see his father. Like, it's so much, and the weight of Athena talking to him and how guilty she feels as well. It is so loaded. This musical is so incredibly rich. It is my favorite thing I've ever consumed. Pause. And really just incredible. So, Jorge, if you see this, thank you for really impacting my life with such an incredible show, and I'm sure millions and millions of other people. So thank you so much for watching, and peace out. Don't tell me you're not the same person. You're always my husband, and I've been waiting, Penelope.